want y'all to see this.
You made a living off of promoting that type of music, promoting rap, promoting hip hop, promoting anything with violence in it. For you to even say, "Oh, I'm gonna turn around from this and go a different way," that shows that God already had an impact on you. Because at that moment, you had a moment of clarity and realized, things are getting dark, and this is the reason because I've involved myself in this.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Now, I want to get into some important things that you said in the interview, specifically that the man you have behind you.
Mm-hmm.
In the interview you did with Jaguar Wright, you messaged me and you told me that Jaguar claimed that she believed Drake was somehow involved in this home invasion situation.
That's correct. So I was working with two people. I was working with Boosie Badass, and I was working with Drake. And I was working with Drake through a situation that I can't talk about so freely. But yes, I was involved in the situation with Drake that is out there really heavy in the media. So when she said that, because 3 people pled guilty.
But did Drake hire you directly, or was it Drake's baby mother?
It was Drake's baby mother. And then it was also when it's like she hires me and then I'm working for Drake and I'm dealing with his lawyer and stuff like that.
And I know like you said, you can't release what
Both.
You were working with him for, essentially.
Both.
But this is around what time? What year?
This was right when the home invasion, 2017.
Kept saying both.
Around that time.
April.
Okay, continue. Sorry about that. Just wanted
Yes, so I was working with both.
All right.
But I never thought that, Drake, because as I said, 3 people pled guilty and went to prison. But weird things would keep happening with law enforcement. Weird things that were very powerful, right? That were unexplainable, because there was another person that for sure should have been indicted. And this other person was dating one of the people who went to prison.
Is that why Jaguar Wright thinks that Drake might have something to do with it?
Jaguar Wright said so because she had found something on the dark web, because she's been through some trauma herself, is what led her to believe that. When she said that in the interview, it was completely shocking for me, because I never even thought that. I knew that I was dealing with something so powerful. And it's not like Drake would I don't think Drake would, contact somebody and say that. But it's his, he's so powerful and he generates so much money that, like I said, they have handlers, they have managers, they have lawyers, they have stuff. Somebody was doing something, and I don't want to say him at all, right? Because I don't necessarily, believe that, but somebody connected to him for sure. So, but then something else happened. Somebody who watched the interview pointed out Drake's lyrics to the song. If you want to pull them up, you can.
N-word scared to come towards us, gotta run from us. Louisville, hush money for my young gunners.
Okay, let's stop there. There. The Louisville hush money. I was in Louisville. And that's very far from Toronto or anything else I had. It's a small town, Louisville, Kentucky. And he says, Louisville. Well, what does he say after that?
Hush money for my young gunners.
And the hush money would be probably the situation with his baby mama. Was you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says the Gunners was an armed robbery.
Yeah.
And then he says,
pick Patinos, I take them to strip clubs and casinos. Stack of C-notes, get all your N-words scratched like Primo.
So getting scratched, obviously he's getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
The strippers are, and the casinos are, when I gave him my debit card, because we're just trying to survive. And so I gave him my right PIN number.
Yeah.
And my credit card, because I remember the police were like, well, why would you do that? because I'm thinking, well, maybe he's going to go right down the street in St. Matthews and make sure that the PIN number works. And so then he's going to come back and tell us, because there's 2 people in there.
Exactly.
Right? So they took it and it worked. They went to a strip club.
Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong.
My card. That's how they got their ID. And then they went across the bridge to the casino.
Strip club and a casino.
Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. I expose artists all the time, and Drake is one of the artists that I've spent a lot of time on investigating. And when the whole Triple X Tentacion situation happened, no one can prove he had any involvement in it or not. But it was the same thing as this. It's like he wanted people to believe he was involved with the lyrics that he had. He had specific lyrics that were targeting X and almost like bragging about taking him out, whether he had something to do with it or not.
Exactly.
But he definitely is a clever man, and he is the type of person who does everything, hidden. He sneak disses. It's the way he operates. He doesn't address it directly. He likes to sneak this. He likes to add little coded terms and coded messages. And like you said, in that interview, I heard you state that you were working with his baby mom.
Mm-hmm.
She, for some reason, believed that you were involved in that information about Adonis, his son, being leaked. And maybe it's the reason why a person like Drake would be upset at a publicist like you, who was the one that the label was working with, or his management was working with. And who knows, he could have 100% made a call and got something like this done. No, I wouldn't put it past Drake.
He could have, but I think it's exactly what you said, and I'm glad you said that and pointed it out, because it's been like, jarring my head since you said that. Not only Drake, but other powerful people, because I was up against a powerful entity for sure. Like, I think it's the latter, because Louisville hush money, like he doesn't have Louisville hush money anywhere else. And I'm not saying that he gave me, Louisville hush money. I don't want to say that. But people can kind of come to the conclusion. But Louisville hush money is very straightforward, and coming with guns and then doing something and then going to strip club and casino, which is exactly where they went. And the police thought they were so stupid to go to a strip club and a casino, right? So it's all very strange, and I think he was mad probably because I was blamed for the Pusha T thing, and that was like immediate. That was like after that happened, with this baby mama, because the relationship is, I was working with Sahada Prince forever. Sahada Prince is like Kanye West's main writer. If you look up Sahada Prince, his real name is Sidel Young, and if you look at Kanye, a lot of Kanye West writing credits are from Sidel Young. He was signed to Good Music, and he worked directly under Pusha T. And Sahada Prince has been like my friend and somebody I've worked with for over 10 years, right? At the point. So people thought that because nobody else knew that she was pregnant with Drake's baby, right? And all the information that came out in the Pusha T diss, a lot of people felt that was me from telling Saha, who told Pusha T. And I can tell you the honest to God truth, just as I told them, I never told Pusha T one thing about it. I mean, I never told Sahada Prince one thing about it. We never even talked about it. We never even had conversations like that. We would just collaborate on stuff. Like, it wasn't like he was a friend, but he's not somebody that I'm going to confide in. I don't even think
a business friend.
Yeah, I don't think he knew about the home invasion. We never talked about it. Right? So they just assumed, because it's like, where did this information come from? So maybe Drake, when he was dropping that Sandra Rose album, that's the Scorpion album cover behind me, where the Sandra Rose album is. I mean, the Sandra Rose song is. Maybe that was him letting me know, like, ha ha ha,
showing his power. No, I get exactly what you're saying. And for the audience, as I already explained earlier in the video, the pattern is there. It all lines up perfectly. If Drake possibly thought you were the only person with this information, or the only person that could have leaked this information, in his mind, I see it intimidation towards you. Him, a way to say, you did something I don't like. Now you're going to pay for it. Did it happen after or before?
I was working with Drake during when it happened.
Okay, so and then the information was
the Pusha T disc came out at 3-4 months afterwards.
3-4 months afterwards. But there was talks maybe behind the scene or something, correct?
Correct.
Okay. To me, I personally and a lot of people on this channel have seen that these artists, they operate on their own set of rules. And then they do specific things like this where they will talk to you. They will say things, because even with the Drake, with the X situation where he had lyrics about giving Louis bags full of money for body bags, and Triple X Tentacion, when he passed away, he had a Louis bag in his car, and that's what the people who took him out basically took from him.
So the first thing I think is important to talk about.
I don't know why he's going.
Under the bus and blaming it on you. And if they say if it's all a rumor, then it's all a rumor, and everyone's going to go with that story because nobody wants to believe it. Nobody wants to believe that their idols are evil or their idols are doing anything wrong. So they're already coping and making excuses for it, even when the evidence is in their face. And it's a lot of people saying that Jay-Z, like you said, is next. Do you believe Jay-Z is next, though?
I do.
But in what sense? Do you think that they will allow a person like Jay-Z to be taken from his position? Because it looks like they're clearing Diddy's spot to give it to him.
That's a good point. But I think what you should look at and maybe flash the lyrics on the screen to that is the song that he did with Foxy Brown on his debut album, and which was in 1996. She was a minor.
Yeah.
And listen to the content that a grown man is having with a minor, and just read the lyrics. It's "Ain't no player" is the clean version, and the explicit version is "Ain't no N-word." And this is an adult doing a song with a minor. I think she's 14, 15, 16 at the oldest, with that kind of lyrical content is absolutely crazy.
Even Nas, you can say Nas was just dissing Jay-Z, but Nas specifically stated that Jay-Z and R. Kelly were doing the same thing with the same girls that were at the studio together. And that's a strong accusation, but let's be honest, it's like what they're saying now about Drake. Oh, Drake's into the minors. If you have been following Drake loves to rap about hooking up with 18, 19, as young as he can. That's what he legally states. But if you're aiming for an 18-year-old at 36, you're not going to compromise at a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old. It wouldn't matter. It's the same thing. What's the difference between a 16 and an 18-year-old besides the fact that they're legal? But they're both still teenagers, and they're both still extremely young and undeveloped, mentally at least, Okay. And would you say that there's another P. Diddy in the industry or more P. Diddy's in the industry from your time at the industry?
P. Diddy he's a one-on-one. Like the fact that we call him P. Diddy and, Puff Daddy and Puffy and Sean Combs and all the different variations. He's a one-on-one with his level of freak offs. And his was he did it for so long because he's doing it out in the open. He's got a 40-foot bed in his backyard and people are, jumping on it. And he's having these freak off parties with a lot of people involved. And then they got bigger and bigger. They found, thousands of bottles of lubricant, literally.
Baby oil.
Yeah. So I think he was just all out in the open. I can do whatever I want. I think the other people that are doing it are much more careful, much more calculated, and are much more wicked.
So they're in there. That's exactly my question. My question is,
right.
Is there more people that you believe
yes.
that are still behaving like Diddy?
Yeah.
But understand this.
And I would say with what I do know for a fact, not alleged, but DJ Khaled is bisexual. And Jay-Z has also participated in bisexual activities.
Would you want to say allegedly for your safety?
There's no, I would say allegedly if it was allegedly. DJ Khaled 100% has been involved and he's bisexual. I did a show called One Shot and he was in Miami and he was open with the guy that he was with. He was he was gay. And I don't understand what happens there where, because nobody said anything to me like, hey, make sure you don't, go out and say this on record. Make sure you don't say this, da 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 da. So it's weird that would still be hidden. That seems like that should be a fact that DJ Khaled, at least in 2016, was definitely bisexual.
Okay, and we're good.
And Jay-Z is without question bisexual.
Okay, I agree with you. I know
Jay-Z's mom is gay.
Jay-Z's mother?
Yeah, she's gay openly.
Okay, I have nothing against any person's preference, but in the industry, they like to hide this, specifically in hip hop. They're trying to make this normal now. They're trying to push it on so it can be more accepted within the hip hop community. But the reason why they would want to keep this from the public is because they're pushing this gangster, tough guy, manly of all men persona. And if it were to come out that they were not the manly of men, so I think that's the reason why they hide it. But I 100% believe that these people are bisexual, gay, and I believe that, like I said, the Freemasons, they don't see themselves as men. They see themselves as gods. That's what the 33rd degree literally represents. It represents enlightenment. It represents reaching the level of a god. And most people will say that God is genderless, even though in Christianity, God is a man, essentially a man type of being. But in the Kabbalist way that they look at these things, they see man and woman as one. It's called the great androgyny. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. But it's alchemy in the sense where the femininity and the masculinity come together to create one being, which is a god. And that's literally what Masonry teaches. So I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of these people in the industry at the level of Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, all of these people at the top, if they're into this kind of thing, because I personally believe, and I've personally proven hundreds of times, that you just cannot get to that level without being a part of that club. Would you agree with that?
I definitely would agree. And listen, as you're saying this, and I'm thinking about the DJ Khaled situation, that TV show, it's on BET right now. It's called One Shot. And I left. There's like stories out there where I left One Shot. And I said that I left One Shot to be because I was reunited with my birth parents. And that's not really, I mean, that is the truth. But the reason why I left, because the whole was gay. RZA is bisexual. Sway Calloway is bisexual. Who else was out there? DJ Khaled was bisexual. It was like one big, gay party that was all like closeted and like weird. That's why I left, because for the exact same things that you said, like people have their own preferences, people have their own beliefs. I know a lot of people. So I know a lot of, gay Christians. And then I know a lot of people like the church that my family started that would be like, there's no way that you could be a gay Christian. There's no way that you could be gay and also be a Christian at the same time. And I've done projects that are, supportive of LGBT, but it was all out in the open. The One Shot thing that I did with DJ Khaled and Sway Calloway and RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan was also gay and also hidden, and it was annoying and it was so weird because it's everything that you're talking about. Just like, be gay. Like,
I'm going to say it again.
Were you born between 1969 and 1979? If so, you can get a Milwaukee combo kit completely free.
They publicly.
I know Lil Nas X is like, so like, I don't like any of his music, right? But he's out there and open. And then do you want to talk about like dark, wild stuff that he's promoting? Like, it seems like he's, satanic as they come. Frank Ocean.
You see, what you're mentioning though, you're mentioning the people that they're putting in place to try to normalize this within hip hop.
Right.
You see that, right?
Yes.
Lil Nas X, his purpose was to bring down that barrier. His purpose is to make it normal, not for the generations where you come from or the generations where I come from, because they're not going to turn. That's not going to work with them. But it's for the new generation that's emerging now.
But you aren't open about it in your mute.
Masons are?
Yes.
Would you say that there's Freemasons involved in the music industry?
Yes.
Okay, see, that right there should prove to many people alone that you're being 100% honest, because most people in the industry aren't going to say that.
Right.
Most people in the industry are afraid of this question, or they act like they don't even know what the Masons are. Now,
but they show the symbolism so clearly.
yeah, of course, and that's my next question. Do you believe people like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, Beyonce, do you believe they're members of either the Freemasons or other occult organizations?
That's why I think Diddy's a one-on-one, because I don't really think that he was. He was like his own occult. And kind of like what you said, maybe he made somebody upset or something. Like Diddy's always been kind of like a lone ranger, a lone wolf, right?
He uses the same symbolism though.
Right, but Jay-Z, you're right. But Jay-Z, yes, 100%.
Okay, good. Are you a Freemason by chance?
No.
Okay, good. I just got it. These are the questions so that
Right.
my audience will trust you, and this is important to know. Jay-Z is definitely a Freemason. Diddy is 100% a Freemason. His the same man that I was telling you about, the guy who was interviewed inside of the jail by the police. He was interviewed in an interrogation room, and he was interrogated. And this is literally what he said. He said P. Diddy, Rick Ross, and DJ Khaled. He said they're all gay, and he said that they're all a part of the Bole Masonic organization.
Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies. Okay, they're gay. Both. Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know you may or may not. I know you're gonna believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati. How do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
You know Sean Combs.
I'm Betty.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
Which is essentially it's a fraternity, a black fraternity within Freemasonry.
Another big thing to consider when you listen. Face on camera and talk about this. Are you not afraid?
I'm gonna be quiet.
Going back to the Drake situation, I also feel that Drake might have had something to do with what happened to you, for sure.
Mhm.
Do you believe that Drake would want to retaliate against you because of what you're seeing now?
No.
Why do you say that?
Because it's too much out in the open at this point. And I know too much, and I've told his representatives, like, if anything were to happen, other stuff is going to happen to reveal information. I know too much. I got exposed to too much information with text messages and videos and voice notes recording and everything else that I didn't ask for any of that, information. I didn't ask for any of that stuff. So I'm not worried about Drake. I'm not worried about Jay-Z. I'm not worried about any of these people anymore. Because I realized that my mother told me a long time ago, if I'm not using my gifts to glorify God, then I'm never going to be truly blessed. So I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And this has happened organically. And these interviews have happened organically. And these things have happened organically. I wasn't seeking any of this. This has just happened because this is what God is pushing me to do. And that's not only what I feel, that's what I know, because it's happening, right? So I'm not scared of that at all. If I would, I wouldn't be speaking.
That was beautifully said.
So in this interview, as groundbreaking as the things that he talks about, listen to what he's saying.
See, this is why I want to shut up.
Industry,
You messing up.
why would you have a picture?
It's everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's. Nugent, he better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby. While he was married. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, you and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help.
I'm gonna take it back for y'all so y'all can see.
See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, you and Jay-Z. Down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia.
That's Kathy. And told you that Diddy. I can't make out everybody else in there. You see somebody out there looking up there today. They don't want nobody to take that picture.
Yeah. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. What did an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you? Oh, Diddy, you should talk.
How many times?
But yeah, y'all. It's that stuff, that Drake nigga. I'm gonna get all them niggas. Alright, let's say edit. I'm gonna end stream. End stream. Hold up, not yet. I ain't gonna finish it yet. Cause I'm trying to hook it up for y'all. I'm gonna edit this thing. I'm getting good at it. I'm getting good.